And here we are with Malcolm Brogdon, the newest member of the Boston Celtics.
Great to see you again.
Amanda, bring us in, because you are the one who was conducting that interview with him walking around the court.
It was so much fun. Great to see you again.
Good to see you.
We talked about the off season, how you like to enjoy and go travel when you can. Where'd you go?
I got a chance to go to the Cayman Islands early on. I didn't really get to do my traveling sort of in the middle of the summer like I usually do, just because of the trade and everything sort of being uprooted. But then at the end of the summer, I went to Cairo, Egypt. Spent time there. I went with Basketball Without Borders with the NBA. Spent about 5 days out there. Had a great time. Me and Grant Williams went. And it was, it capped off a good summer.
I've been to Cairo once before, actually. I'm blessed to have been able to go there. Did you go to the pyramids?
We did.
Were you able to go in?
So we didn't go in.
Okay,
we didn't have the time.
I was just going to say, I barely fit in there.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys would have fared. Is it with
might have been a problem.
Yeah, with Grant's wide shoulders and your frame, I just don't see how it would have worked. I could barely get my way in there. But how did you enjoy being out there?
I loved it. I enjoy experiencing different cultures, being in different countries, just being around different people with different perspectives and outlooks. So I love every trip I take internationally.
And all for a good reason.
All
right?
for a
with
good
Basketball
reason.
Without Borders.
Absolutely.
Back in Boston now, how have you been adjusting to your new city?
Boston's been amazing. The people in my neighborhood have been amazing. The people in the community, the Celtics organization has made the transition easy. And then the fans, of course, the best fans in the league. They've been extremely welcoming, and everything is about Banner 18. So I come here with the same mindset, and I'm ready to win.
You just talked about the fans being the best fans in the league. You're finally going to be able to be on the right side of those fans.
Right.
Take us back to what it used to be like playing on the other side when you were the team coming into TD Garden from the road.
It's been brutal. It has been brutal. I was on Milwaukee for 3 years, my first 3 years in the league, and that was when in Milwaukee we were ascending.
Yep.
And Boston was our biggest, hurdle, the team we had to beat. In the first couple years I was there, we didn't beat them. My last year we did. But every year has been brutal. Coming in here playing against Boston, these fans are honestly unbelievable. And as an opponent, when you come in here, they're going to be unbelievable. So you have to bring it. You got to bring your focus when you're in TD Garden.
October 18th, you're going to enjoy that.
Absolutely.
This I know.
How exciting is it too that when you walk into TD Garden, you're representing those banners with the potential to get 18?
It's amazing. I've been telling everybody that's asked me what's it like, putting on that jersey and being able to call yourself a Boston Celtic. It's a privilege just for what, this organization stands for. Having Bill Russell, having that story, the greatest winner of all time, and then the success, having these 17 banners up. It's a privilege to put this jersey on and to represent Boston in the way that, I'm allowed to do now. And I'm going to embrace it and give it everything I got.
And shortly after the trade, to touch on that, a couple of the things that fans were talking about and just wondering because they don't know you all too well, you haven't played here before. Number one, your willingness to take on a new role because you are going to be playing on a team that's in a very different situation than what you just came from. And number two, injury history. So I want to touch on those each individually. Number one, you've made it clear that you are willing to play whatever role Joe Mazzulla wants you to play on this team. What do you think that role will be? And why are you willing to kind of take a back seat to these other guys if you need to do that?
I think pre-Robert Williams being out for a few months to start the season, I was going to be sixth man, and I still might be. It depends on what Joe wants. It depends on what our staff is asking me for, but that might change. And for me, I'm a guy, I came in here with an open mindset to play the six-man role and embrace that and do it to the best of my ability, and I'm open to possibly changing. If they need me to start, whatever they need me to do, I'm going to do. So I have no problem, sacrificing. I think to win a championship, you got to have guys on the team that are going to sacrifice. I think it's going to be, I might be shuffled around a little bit, but I expected that coming into a championship caliber team.
And you're always able to do that because you're good at so many different things. A really high-level player across the floor. The second question about the injury pass, why do you think that you're in a place now that you're going to be able to stay healthy throughout the season and provide that boost to this team for 70, 80 games?
One, I think after you get to 6, 7 years in the league, you start to learn about your body and learn, what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, what you should be eating, what you shouldn't be eating.
We just heard that from Jason Tatum, by the way.
Yeah, you know, and I'm at that point in my career where I'm really starting to master my body. And then secondly, when I was in Indiana, I had an incredible load on my body, on myself, on my mind. And that takes a toll on your body when you're, defending the best player, but you're also running point guard and, are leading scorer a lot of the time. And here, I come to a team that's incredibly talented on both ends. They have the Defensive Player of the Year. They have two of the best scorers in the NBA in the world. I won't have to take on a giant load. I'll have to play a big role, but not the role I've been playing 35 minutes a game, 40 minutes a game, like I have in other scenarios previously. So I think it allows me to stay healthy and to sort of improve my longevity.
You can kind of distribute your energy to a bunch of different areas rather than shouldering that load for a couple different key areas. Yeah.
When we last spoke to you, had said this team already has that great chemistry, but for you coming in, you don't want to disrupt or take away. You only want to add. Mm-hmm. To me, that's a leader. That's someone that just wants to help this team. You're saying you're going to be flexible, everything. What do you think you can bring this team from a leadership standpoint too, and maybe working with Al Horford on that?
Yeah, I think just a sound voice. What I've heard is Al is the leader. I've heard that Al is sort of the quiet leader, the unsung hero. People don't talk about him, but he's the guy everybody's looking to set the example and to be a pro every day and to sort of ride the wave when things aren't going well. Al's the steady presence that the team needs and, has always leaned on for years. And I hope to be another one of those guys that's a pro in every aspect, that's also a vocal leader and can, talk and, say things that matter at the right time, because I think that's part of leading is knowing when to talk, knowing when to listen. And then just, I think motivating guys, getting behind Jaylen, Jason, keeping them focused, keeping them, great. They got to be great. In order for us to win a championship, those two guys got to be great. And for me, my big part of my job is to help them be great. So that's what I'm here for.
I love what I'm hearing. I have been preaching for a couple years now. Malcolm Brogdon would be a perfect fit on the Boston Celtics. I do have receipts out on Twitter. That did happen a couple years ago. I'm like, it needs to happen.
Do we want to pull him up now? Or no?
We don't have him here, but you can look it up on my Twitter. I've always thought that you would be just a perfect fit here because you're a lot like Marcus Smart, where you guys can do so many things at a high level. I've always called him the Swiss Army knife of the Celtics. Yep. Now I feel like Joe Mazzulla's got 2, maybe even 3 with Derek White being included in that realm. So I really think you guys are going to bring a lot to the table as a group. In terms of your role, though, we've talked about the adjustments that you're going to be able to make. One of them is playing off the ball a little bit more. Talk us through what that adjustment is going to be like for you and what's most important for to align you for success while playing in that role.
Yeah, when I was in Milwaukee, I played with arguably the best player in the world in Giannis, and I played off the ball. We had Eric Bledsoe. We had Della Vadova, we had Giannis, all playing point guard. I played off the ball my entire 3 years, and that was when I was most efficient, 50, 40, 90. I had great seasons there.
We'll take that again if you want to give it to us.
Hopefully. So I excel in playing off the ball. It's been part of what I pride myself on is being versatile and being able to play on the ball, off the ball, depending on who I'm on the court with. So I think it's a role I'm gonna excel in. It just depends on who's on the floor with me and what the team needs. I can do either.
How competitive is that backcourt going to be on the practice court as we hit training camp here tomorrow?
Incredibly competitive. We're going to go at it for sure.
There's no drop-off. This. I told Derek, I've been here 15 seasons. This is the most stacked backcourt I've seen since I've been here.
I think we're going to be very, very good.
I know.
Looking forward to it.
Very, very much looking forward to it. And 2, just in terms of you going into training camp, is there a certain mindset that you have or an approach? Because obviously you're going to build the chemistry with the guys. You know how to do that. But is there, just for the first day of how you approach it?
Send a message, prove yourself. I'm a guy that, I've had a good career. I've done things. I've made money. I've won at a high level on certain teams. But whenever you go to a new team, whether you're LeBron James or you're me, you have to prove yourself again, especially when you're going to a championship caliber team. I got to prove that I am who I say I am, So that's what I'm going to do the first day.
I've got an important question coming in my ear here from the producer. Are you on social media much?
Not a lot.
Okay.
Not
are
much.
you aware of the nickname that's floating around of Humble Moses?
That nickname started with my college coach. Well, it started with my brothers. My brothers used to joke and call me that in high school. It was like a running joke in the family. And then my college coach picked it up, and he started the joke. He sort of kept it going once I got to UVA.
And it's just carried itself on?
People don't really
does anyone actually call you that?
No one really calls me that. Moses is my middle name, so that's where.
That's perfect.
That's where it comes from.
That's where it comes from. And you're humble.
And
right?
people perceive me as humble, so yeah.
Is it an accurate perception?
I hope so. That's
All
for
right,
other
good.
people to determine.
I know during our interview, people were saying too, your voice sounds like Barack Obama.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that I think you commented back on that?
Yeah,
saying, yeah, I got that.
I get it a lot. That's a compliment.
Yeah.
He's the man, so that's definitely a compliment.
This is a perfect time for me to throw this in there. I've got it right up here. Your name sounds 100% presidential. Like Malcolm Brogdon has always come off presidential to me. So if you sound like Barack Obama as well, it's a pretty good combination.
Like apps like Sleep Stories or something like that, just using your voice.
Yeah. No, I have a career after this, for sure. Yeah.
A little bit more back on the basketball side. Joe Mazzulla, now the interim head coach of the Boston Celtics. What have been your interactions with him so far since you got to Boston? And then what did you take out of that first meeting with him this morning as a team?
Well, Joe is very well respected amongst the guys. Guys see him as very sharp, knows the game extremely well. Young, but coming into his own very fast, has a lot of respect around the league. But on every NBA team, they put every assistant coach has 2 to 3 guys that they basically watch film with. They work out every day. Like those are their guys they take care of during the season. And I was assigned to Joe. Mm-hmm. He had me and maybe 1 or 2 other guys. So I got to know him for maybe the past 3 weeks, and then everything happened, and now he's stepped into the role that he's in, the head coach. So it gave me a little leeway as a new guy to get to know him early on. And he's serious, man. He's very detail oriented. He's very focused on winning and improving every day. His thing is improve every day. And I think that's a great mindset for a head coach to have with this team, because this team is so talented. It can be easy to be complacent after last year. It can be easy to be complacent after winning 5-6 games in a row during a season. So to have a coach like that that's going to hold you accountable every game, every day, every practice, it's going to be huge.
To piggyback on that, what was your reaction when you heard that he was going to be the guy?
I was excited for him. It's a difficult situation for everybody. I empathize with everybody that was in the situation. But for another guy to get an opportunity, it's great. It's great. A guy like that, the way he's prepared to be just an assistant in the league, the way he carries himself every day, it's exciting for him.
One last question for you before we let you go here. You, Grant Williams, Jaylen Brown, all members of the NBPA Executive Committee. I don't think I've been a part of a team that had 3 on the same team. We know what that means in terms of maturity and everything that you guys bring to the table and intellect into the locker room. But how do you think that can actually help you guys on the court? Because you're 3 of the, arguably top 7 players on the team in the rotation. How can that help?
I think it brings a chemistry. I think the more you can bond off the court, it helps you on the court. And for us 3 especially, we bond on a high level intellectually off the court because of the things we deal with on the executive committee. We spend a lot of time together off the court, a lot of time on calls. We're thinking about and processing the same issues day in, day out because we're working together on this stuff off the court. So it's, I think it's only going to help the team.